Hey everyone, welcome to CineTruth. This story is based on true events about a prisoner who was falsely accused of murder. No matter how hard he tried, he failed to escape from prison. You might have problems in your life too, but trust me, they're nothing compared to what this man went through. Before we dive in, we'd like to thank our dear friends for their lovely comments. Now let's get started. The story begins in 1931 in Paris. We see a man named Henri, a clever and skilled thief who is better known by his nickname, Papillon. He has just stolen some diamonds and effortlessly escapes through a window. He goes to meet his boss, John Castilli. Castilli shows Henri a man who's being beaten up by his men and warns him, "This is what happens to anyone who betrays me." Without saying anything, Henri shows the diamonds he just stole. Castilli asks if Henri has kept some diamonds for himself, but Henri denies it. Castilli pays him, and Henri leaves. Henri then meets his girlfriend, Nanette, and shows her a necklace and some diamonds. He did, in fact, keep some diamonds for himself, betraying his boss. As Henri and Nanette are strolling down the street, they are spotted by one of Castilli's men, who notices the necklace around Nanette's neck. However, Henri doesn't realize that someone is watching them. They're lost in each other. Nanette suggests they settle down in the city, but Henri isn't ready. He needs more money, so he asks her to give him 6 months to save up. But Nanette doesn't want to wait that long. While they're discussing this, someone knocks on the door. Henri opens it, and the police rush in and arrest him for the murder of a man named Roland, a murder Castilli ordered the night before. Henri insists he's innocent and claims he was with Nanette all night. But despite his protests, he's taken into custody. While in jail, Nanette visits Henri and promises to fight for his release, but Henri knows he can't get out legally. This was all a setup by Castilli. Henri tells Nanette that his only option is to escape from prison. He also tells her to forget about him, but she refuses. After Nanette leaves, Henri's fellow prisoner, Julot, who overheard Henri talking about escaping, strikes up a conversation. He tells Henri that escaping will require a lot of money. Soon after, all the prisoners, including Henri, are transported to a remote island prison known to be impossible to escape from. Julot points out a man named Louis Dega, a wealthy prisoner rumored to have hidden money inside his body. Seeing an opportunity, Henri approaches Dega and offers him a deal. If Dega helps fund Henri's escape, Henri will protect him from the dangerous inmates who are after his money. At first, Dega refuses. Later, while the prisoners are resting, Dega witnesses a powerful inmate brutally kill another man who also had money hidden inside him. The guards do nothing because they've been bribed. The next day, Dega reconsiders Henri's offer and agrees. Henri, however, tells him that he plans to escape alone, and Dega accepts the terms. The powerful inmate starts harassing Dega again, but thanks to Henri, nothing happens to him. Eventually, the prisoners arrive at the island prison where they will be kept. The warden gives them a strict warning. If anyone tries to escape, they're free to try. But know this, escape from here is nearly impossible, and anyone caught will pay with their life. Henri and Dega are assigned to separate barracks. Life in the prison is brutal. The prisoners are forced to do heavy labor, and Dega, being physically weak, struggles to keep up. He tells Henri that he's been suffering from diarrhea and has already lost some of his hidden money. One day, while they're working, Henri spots a man who has bribed the guards to let him ride in their cart. Henri quickly makes a deal with the man, offering him $2,000 for a boat to escape. The man refuses, but Dega raises the offer to $5,000, and the man agrees, promising that his boat will be waiting on the other side of the river. That night, while they're resting, Dega admits to Henri that his wife will never be able to get him out of this prison in time. He fears he'll die there and decides to escape with Henri. Henri doesn't reply. The next morning, we learn that Julot, who had faked an injury to get into the hospital as part of his escape plan, has been caught. In the process, Julot killed 2 guards, so the warden orders him to be beheaded, making an example of him to prevent any future escape attempts. Henri and Dega are assigned the task of disposing of Julot's body. As they carry the body through the jungle, Dega becomes overwhelmed by the sight of Julot's corpse and refuses to continue. The guards begin beating Dega, which enrages Henri. He grabs a rock and strikes one of the guards, taking advantage of the chaos to make a run for it. Henri reaches the man who promised him a boat, but when he asks for it, the man demands money. Henri admits he has no money at the moment, but promises to make him rich if he escapes. The man laughs and tells Henri that even if he had the money, he wouldn't have given him the boat. The warden pays him to catch prisoners trying to escape. Henri is captured and taken to the warden. The warden tells him, "You're lucky, Henri. The guard you injured is still alive. Otherwise, you would have ended up like Julot." As punishment, Henri is sentenced to 2 years of solitary confinement. Solitary confinement is so brutal that it can drive a person insane. Henri struggles to keep his mind occupied. He is given nothing but rotten soup to eat, and as time passes, his health begins to deteriorate. But before we continue, I want to quickly share something that might come in handy for those of you who juggle multiple online accounts. GoLogin is the go-to browser for multi-accounting. It makes managing multiple profiles easy, all while providing extra security. If you're looking for a solution to simplify your digital life, give GoLogin a try. Now back to the story. One day, while Henri is in solitary confinement, he receives a coconut in a bucket. Surprised, he finds a note inside, realizing that it was Dega who had bribed the guards to provide him with coconuts regularly. This small act of kindness keeps Henri going, but one day, the warden discovers the secret. When asked who's supplying the coconuts, Henri refuses to reveal Dega's name. As a result, the warden punishes Henri by cutting his already meager food supply in half. Time passes, and Henri's condition worsens. He grows weaker and loses his grip on sanity, ultimately requiring hospitalization. When Dega meets Henri in the hospital, he apologizes, feeling guilty for Henri's terrible condition. He admits, "Henri, this is all my fault. You were right. I'll never escape from this prison. My wife, who once fought for my release, has married the lawyer she hired to free me. I'll die here." But Henri, despite his appearance, reveals that he has been faking his madness to get out of solitary. Together, they plan one final escape, deciding to execute their plan on the night a film is shown to the prison officers. Henri recruits 2 other inmates for the escape, one to provide a boat and another to distract the guards. On the night of the plan, Dega mixes a drug into the officers' drinks, making them suspicious but too late to stop it, as they soon pass out. The escapees make their way to the boat, but heavy rain complicates matters. Despite the storm, Henri, Dega, and their 2 companions board the boat. As they sail into the night, the storm rages. One of the men, Charriere, attempts to throw Dega overboard, fearing the boat will capsize due to his injuries. Henri intervenes, and in the scuffle, Dega kills Charriere with a knife to save Henri's life, dumping the body into the sea. The 3 remaining escapees continue onward and reach an island, believing they are finally free. However, the island's nun quickly informs the police about their arrival. In panic, Charriere, the man who arranged the boat, tries to escape and is shot dead on the spot by the police. Henri and Dega are captured and brought back to the same prison they fought so hard to escape. The warden, adhering to the prison's rules, sentences Henri to 5 more years of solitary confinement for his second escape attempt. Time drags on, and Henri waits in isolation, his willpower gradually fading. Once his 5 years are over, he is sent to another island, a death camp of sorts, where prisoners simply wait for their end. Surrounded by jagged rocks and the vast ocean, escape seems impossible. But when Henri arrives, he reunites with Dega, who had been sent there 5 years earlier. Dega, now a broken man, has resigned himself to living out the rest of his days on the island, seeing no hope for freedom. Henri, however, hasn't given up. He devises a daring plan to collect enough coconuts to fashion a raft that could float them across the ocean. Dega reluctantly agrees to help, and the 2 work tirelessly to prepare for the escape. Finally, the day arrives. But in a last-minute decision, Dega chooses to stay behind, feeling he has no reason to live outside the prison walls after being betrayed by his wife. Henri tries to convince him, but Dega insists on staying. Saddened, Henri bids Dega farewell, hugs him for the last time, and jumps into the sea with his makeshift raft. Dega watches, fearing Henri has drowned. But moments later, Henri emerges from the water, calling out to his friend. Dega smiles, relieved that Henri survived. Time passes and we are transported to 1969, where an elderly Henri is seen visiting a publisher. He hands over his memoirs and documents, hoping his incredible story will be told to the world. The publisher, deeply moved by Henri's tale, agrees to share it. At the end of the film, we are shown a real-life image of Henri Charriere, known as Papillon, the French word for butterfly. His extraordinary journey of survival and hope has finally been shared with the world. And that's how the gripping tale of Papillon concludes. If you enjoyed this true story and would like to hear more about similar incredible real-life events, be sure to leave a comment. Your feedback helps us decide on future videos. See you in the next one, and until then, thank you. Take care, and goodbye.